Thing test. There we go. All right, guys, welcome into another stream here tonight. The Israel-Iran situation has calmed down pretty significantly, I would say, to the point where, we're in a ceasefire holding pattern. Apparently, Netanyahu and Trump have been talking about doing some type of deal with Hamas and Palestine, and so maybe that's the next step in the Middle East. And we've also got Russia, Ukraine. But Trump has announced today that there's several big deals. A trade deal, Ludnick said, was done 2 days ago with China, and possibly hinting at a deal with India. I think they're going to 100% get the deal with India done relatively soon. I thought they would have gotten the deal with India done before the one with China. But I think the one with China is the 50% tariffs on China, the 10% tariffs on us. They put 10% on us. Where were there bugs in your house? No, that was on the back. That's outside. That's outside. It's an overhang. It's a large overhang in my backyard. We need at least 5 million deportations. Yeah, well, I wonder if this is, what I call it is physical deportations. That's when they forcibly remove people. If that's what Trump is going for, because you are going to get the self-deportations as well. And Trump and the administration can kind of say, well, we're saved by the self-deportations in a sense, to where if the self-deportations are really high, you can kind of add those into the deportations and your numbers are going to look better. But I don't know if, in terms of the big, beautiful bill, if he's talking about the physical deportations where, they're spending money enforcing the immigration laws and removing people, or if it's just the total number of deportations. But yeah, I streamed a few days ago or whatever, and I didn't realize that Mondani election, how crazy. I mean, there was just I got off the stream and it was just insane, the amount of people, the amount of conservatives that were talking about Mondani, and just a whole bunch of different shit. He's a socialist and stuff. I mean, obviously it's his policy is, I don't know how much they'll actually be able to get done. I was thinking about socialist policy in America. It is kind of funny how they use communism, or how they use capitalism, I should say, as a way to generate funds, because they always raise, socialists in America, they always say, well, we're going to raise taxes on the rich, and they can barely feel it. And why can they barely feel it? Well, because it's very easy to generate money in a capitalist society when you already have it. So it's all these people get really rich, and then they try and exploit that and tax the fuck out of them. It's just an interesting dynamic. Have you decided your format going forward? No, I haven't decided anything on that. China signed a deal. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna go to here. Sudan is trending. China trade. I wonder what is the details known? Here it is right here. Trump announces a trade deal with China has been signed. Yeah, this is from some other event. I don't know what that's from, but they put that there just because.
A few months ago, the press was saying, do you really have anybody of any interest? Well, we just signed with China yesterday, right? Just signed with China. We have everybody. We're not going to make deals with everybody. Some we're just going to send them a letter, say, thank you very much. You're going to pay 25, 35, 45%. That's the easy way to do it. And my people don't want to do it that way. They want to do some of it, but they want to make more deals than I would do. But we're having some great deals. We have one coming up, maybe with India, very big one, where we're going to open up India. In the China deal, we're starting to open up China, things that never really could have happened a few months.
Yeah, so somebody was asking, is this just a framework? I think this is the deal, I believe. I know the last, announcement was a framework. Normally these deals, it's multiple different announcements, and so hopefully this is the official announcement. I don't think Trump would say this unless it was actually happening, So hopefully it's actually happening. Brown Stadium confirmed, ready for 2029. That the 2029? Yeah, that makes sense. I know the area. I know that area where it's going. It's that you think about it, it being out of Cleveland is pretty rough. I mean, with where it's going, that's where it's like such a microcosm of just NFL stadiums leaving the city, going to an area that they have to build up. They're building up like this artificial district surrounding it. It's a dome. It's fully enclosed. It's like, but I mean, that's just what they're doing now in the NFL. Did you hear Chuck Schumer went to the hospital because he got dehydrated? Yeah, he went. He was in the Senate gym, they said, and I guess got dehydrated or something. I heard about that yesterday. Powell still won't cut the rates though. Yeah, he's going to be forced to, or Trump's going to try and probably bully him out if he doesn't. But Powell's last hearing, he sounded really different. I think he's changing his tune because the rate cuts have to happen. Like we need the fuel. If you look at our economy and where it is and where it's lagging, the rate cuts can remedy it very well, especially with the low inflation. So it's like we need the fuel. This is like the perfect time to do the rate cuts. I would say, especially if these deals get announced. Ray, thank you for that. I love the content. I always look forward to tuning into the live streams. I appreciate that. Yeah, it'll just depend. I think with the live streams, a lot of it will depend on the news and stuff. If I'll be able to do them, and because we had a big event this past week, so I was streaming pretty much every night. But I guess it just depends. Trump can get rid of him in 2026 and appoint someone competent. Yeah, but we want the rate cuts this year. Like, we want the rate cuts the next meeting, honestly. The rate cuts should come during the next meeting. I mean, maybe it would make sense. So that's the deal with China. I don't know if there's any, there's no details on that. I mean, the details I saw was like, that was from a little while ago, but yeah, you've got this stuff with Hegseth. The Iran reaction is still happening where the press said, well, there was a report from CNN and New York Times saying they didn't hit the centrifuges, they moved out their uranium, all this shit. And so Hegseth is taking questions, and the administration is getting mad about it. Whether or not it's accurate, I don't think it is. I mean, I think it was confirmed by Israeli intelligence. A lot of the centrifuges were destroyed. That's what I heard. You become my go-to person for news. Well, I appreciate that. I mean, I'm not sure if I do enough news videos to be, you know, I probably do about 2 videos and live streams. But yeah, I covered the Israel-Iran thing pretty extensively, I would say. Rate cuts right before the elections, but not now is fraudulent. Yeah, how about, and they cut by 0.5 too, not 2.5, 0.5. So basically 2 rate cuts. Ludnick said, the deal was done 2 days ago. So I believe the China deal is officially done. Um, I guess I dropped out. I think it should be back. Hmm. Yeah, it's back. It's struggling a little bit though. The thing is, I might have to. I'm not gonna do that. It should be fine now. Yeah, I was wondering the chat was like frozen. We will never know who the leaker is. He will disappear from the face of the earth. Yeah, the leaker was probably some Democrat. Some Democrat within the government, I would say. Yeah, I'll take a look at some of these reports. Trump is threatening to sue New York Times, CNN for their misleading reporting based on illegal leaked. I mean, I'm not sure you can really sue them though. He tried suing. Remember the Iowa poll, the Ann Selzer poll. I'm not sure you can really sue them for leaks like this. If the news is slow, you could do news wrap upstreams for the week. Yeah, that that would be a lot easier to do, and it probably would be better digested to like have stories ready to go. I mean, sometimes I have stories, but most of the time it's just me scrolling through the news. Would be really easy to inject some fake details and find the moles. Well, that's what originally people were saying that was. They said that they were leaking out fake details about the strikes not hitting properly, but I guess that's that wasn't what it was to find out who the rats were. Chat GPT says 75% chance we get a Fed cut in 2025. Yeah, in 2025, I would say there's a high chance for sure. But what is there like 4 meetings left in 2025? Liked your update video. Oh, I appreciate that. Seltzer poll was so bad, Dems thought Kamala would get 370. Well, you know what? The Seltzer poll was, I mean, it was very obvious. It was manipulation. I mean, you don't go, Seltzer was within a single point I think dating back to 2002, even in the midterms, Seltzer was within a point in terms of the Iowa, like, Des Moines registry is what it's called. And then to have that misleading of a poll come out right before the election, I 100% think that was a manipulated poll to try and rally the troops behind Kamala and give her momentum going into elect to get people to go out and vote. But Democrats kind of struggled to interpret it. Some of them said, well, a lot of them basically said, well, I don't think the poll is 100% accurate. I don't think she's going to win Iowa, but I think she'll be, within a few points. And if she's within a few points in Iowa, then she's going to win all the Rust Belt, obviously. So they definitely took it seriously, but I think they were kind of like, it was one of those things to where it's just such a crazy, crazy poll considering all the other polls we had leading into the election. Big Balls has returned to the Trump administration. Yeah, Big Balls is back. You think the strikes were as effective as Trump said? I mean, well, he got it. He initially said it. I think they were very successful. I mean, now it's been confirmed that they destroyed basically all the centrifuges in Fordell. That's very successful if they destroyed all their centrifuges. I mean, that takes away key infrastructure for them. You need centrifuges. You need centrifuges for enrichment. And you can't move centrifuges. They're sitting ducks. They're not going to move those. Those are too hard to transport. Mean Gene, I appreciate it. What in the world are the voters in New York City thinking with their last primary election? Yeah. You know what? It's interesting with the Mondani. It was reported that it was like white people age 20 to like 40 that were, I mean, because if you look at black people voted for Cuomo, way over Mondani. The other minorities, I think, also it was really like white liberal women. I mean, it's just insane, but also liberal men as well. I don't know, man. I mean, it's one of those things to where Cuomo is hated. Mondani did run a good campaign in terms of utilizing social media for young people, mobilizing people. It's a local election. It's a primary in a city. So, it's just kind of a combination of things, I would say. But also, dude, another thing you got to think about, there's so many people now that are just obsessed with Israel. You see this to where they say, like, oh, it's because Mondani came out against Israel. He didn't even come out against Israel. He just said he wasn't going to travel to Israel. He still recognizes Israel and says it should exist. But people are like, oh, it's because of that. That's why he won. I really don't think that's the case. I think that was a really small part of why he won. Do you think there will be a large exodus from New York City? It depends. I mean, when you're talking about a mayor, I wonder how much authority he'll actually have in terms of being a mayor. I feel like a lot of the stuff that he wants to do is not going to be able to be implemented. And if stuff gets implemented, I mean, to what level? A lot of it'll probably be coming at as like a neutered policy. Like if whatever he wants to say, whatever his vision is, he probably gets like 10% of it. So it's like, but he definitely has communist tendencies when you're talking about like the grocery stores that he wants, um, which will very likely create a food desert. There's very little incentive for competition if I mean, if you're a rival and you're going up against the state sponsored grocery store, it's pretty challenging. Mhm, mhm, mhm. Centrifuges are either gone or heavily damaged. They basically are gone. They have to be gone. Think about it. You drop MOBs in ventilation shafts and they hit perfectly. I mean, we know they hit perfectly. Nobody's disputing, in terms of where those bombs hit. They hit perfectly. So if the centrifuges are gone, that's a major hit to their ability to enrich uranium. That's their centrifuges at Fordo, where they have the most by far because it's fortified into the ground, and it's hard to get to. So, I mean, that to me, that's great news, and that's the key stuff. If the centrifuges at Fordo are gone, if their conversion facility at Estefan is gone, not cutting rates because it's Trump. Yeah, no, he definitely has a personal vendetta against Trump. Powell does. Powell's like obsessed with Trump apparently, and he's just like, it's a rivalry, and he wanted Harris to win. That's why he cut back in September, and now he's not going to cut. And we've got great numbers that show, yeah, we need a boost, and we've got the inflation down, so we should get the cut. The cut should have already happened. I mean, but they wanted to make sure the trade deals were going to happen. The trade deals are happening. And Trump just said, I saw that. He said, with some of these countries, we're going to say it's just going to be a 25% tariff. We're not even going to do a deal with you. And you can do that because a lot of these countries, our trade with them is like 0.1% of our total overall trade, just because we have so much trade with bigger countries. So if we got these smaller countries, you don't even really have to do negotiations with them. You just tell them what it is. Because if we put a 25% tariff on a very small country, like Cambodia, how is that really going to affect anything in terms of inflation? Our trade with them is so small, it's like a drop in the bucket. Seth got asked, what about female pilots today? Yeah, I saw that because one of the stealth bomber pilots was a female, and Hegseth had said, our boys were very successful, and I guess they I guess they got angry about it. Why won't you admit Nick Fuentes was right? Just pull up. Well, I mean, listen, go watch him then. I mean, it's just when you have to tell everyone you're right. Worried about the 60% uranium could go into dirty bombs, but their ability. Yeah, but even if they had dirty bombs, I mean, I feel like they'd be in an even worse position if they started setting off dirty bombs, because now you don't have a nuclear bomb, so there's no deterrent, and you're just going to alienate yourself more against the United States. I think they'd be better off rebuilding, honestly. Can they do anything sketch with the uranium they do have if they got it? Yeah, I mean, that's where the dirty bombs come into play because they get desperate. They definitely got uranium out of Fordo for sure. But they got your people are acting like they just shoveled they just transported it, the day before. It was they would have transported it a while, probably months in advance, probably during negotiations with the United States before Israel even struck them. That would be my guess. Yeah, this already had a high chance of happening because it was announced. So technically, I don't think this is even confirmed, but it's at 95%. Now, Cuomo should not run. Cuomo would just give it to Mondani if he ran. Uranium is useless without a facility to put it in. Well, it depends what their enrichment level is, but no, you're right. That's what I was trying to say earlier today. If they've destroyed the facilities that because you need miniaturization to create a nuclear bomb, you need conversion. There's two different conversion processes. So if they've destroyed the facilities, the enriched uranium, they can't do anything with it outside of dirty bombs, I would imagine. What's Massey saying now? I haven't heard anything on Massey today. Yeah, this might actually be coming down a little bit. Maybe we'll get a 25% decrease. 21% chance, July 30th. So we might not even get that. They go with the climate change again. I'll tell you what, but they always do this every time it's hot. But now they do also whenever it's freezing cold, they say it's climate change. They switched it from global warming. They used to always say it was global warming. But now it's like any extreme temperature, it has to be climate change. Any hurricane, tornado, heavy thunderstorm. If Mondani wins New York City mayor on 11/4/25, Joker movie. What an interesting donation from Joe. But yeah, no, if Mondani wins, I mean, I would expect crime to go up 100% because there's no accountability. The problem with these minority politicians you'll get is they'll be very lax on crime. They'll be very, very forgiving, and especially this is the biggest problem. It's this. It's like double the issue. It when you have mass crime, or when you have a highly densely populated area and you go soft on crime, your city's fucked. The problem is all these highly densely populated areas are very liberal. It's just the way they live. Liberals live in these mass cities with these apartments, and they live in like a 20-foot apartment, square footage. But it's the deadly combination when you are in densely populated areas, and by the way, you've got a lot of cultures, and the demographics are crazy different. You're talking about that's New York City. New York City is 31% white, and I think it's 40%. Like 30% black, 30% white, 40% Mexican or some shit, or Hispanic. I mean, it's like, and you're talking about, the defunding the police. Now, they don't say it anymore because they know how bad it is. Did you figure out a time for the Maine meetup yet? I mean, what are you talking, Maine, the state? I never been. I don't think I'll be going to Maine. Maybe I will someday. You never want to say never in terms of traveling to places. I don't know. The meetup will be July 4th. No, I'm kidding. Interest rate cuts will be before July Fed meeting. Yeah, they could do that if they get pressured heavily enough, and if the data comes out, they could do that. That's an emergency cut. But it has been insanely hot on the eastern side, of the United States. It's been insanely hot. It won't. Even right, it says heavy rain tomorrow. I can't even see what the temperature is because it's just giving me an update saying it's heavy rain. But I think it's probably like 82 degrees right now. But it was really hot yesterday. Even at night, it was hot. Do you know where you can find the dates for the local and state elections? local and state elections, when you ask AI or search it up on browser, it constantly gives you the phrase too sensitive to talk about looking up state elections. No, that you should be able to 100% look that up. I would just look it up on Google, state elections, and then put your state in, and then put it your city in if you want the real local ones. Jason, I appreciate it. Yeah, I do think they might do an emergency cut. Well, this is what's going to happen. Eric Adams is going to run as the independent. Hopefully, Cuomo won't run, and maybe Eric Adams will siphon the Republicans. He'll get minority Democrats potentially, because the minority people did not vote for Mondani. They voted for Cuomo. So maybe, what does Adams have, like a 20% chance? That's not what I wanted. This is it. Yeah, Adams does have a 20% chance. Cuomo needs to drop out. What is he going to run as an independent? But it's not looking good for Adams. If you're the Democrat candidate, you're talking about an NYC mayoral race, it's very hard to win that. If you're outside of a Democratic candidate. Meme coins still a thing? Yeah, no, meme coins are still, meme coins have very high market caps, and this is with the Bitcoin dominance still extremely high. The Bitcoin dominance keeps going up. I guess I can kind of understand it because of how accepted Bitcoin is. But at some point it's going to go down. There's going to be an altcoin run. How do you feel about Trump trying to kick Massey out of Congress instead of focusing on actual important shit? Well, I think he shouldn't. Anytime Trump mentions Massey, that's what Massey wants. I wouldn't mention Massey if I was Trump. I think he probably, Massey fundraises off of that. He's like, I'm standing up. He does the whole, Israel stuff. I'm the only one that stands up to Israel. And so then he brags about how much money he raises off of like going against Trump. So but obviously Trump is angry because he's undermining what Trump wants to do, and he's not voting like how a Republican should vote. This is a bill. This is a bill to pass. Your Republican leader wants you to vote for it. There's some bad shit in it. Yeah, it's politics. Not everything in a fucking massive bill is going to be good. So Trump's angry about it. But I agree. I think Trump just shouldn't even talk about it. But Trump's trying to primer him out. It just goes with the whole, Trump is just mad because he's anti-Israel, and so NATO chief called Trump daddy. LOL, Matt, I appreciate it. Yeah, I saw that. The NATO chief, he was talking about how Trump was dealing with Israel, Iran, and he's like, "You're the daddy," and so it's funny.
So sad. We're going to fully fund the final sections of border wall, impose a new remittance tax on money sent back to foreign countries, and dramatically increase deportations to a bare minimum of 1 million illegal aliens per year. And what we're doing is we're really going after the criminal aliens, of which we have plenty to work with. People say, well, that's a lot, isn't it? Well, remember, these countries are very smart. They're headed up by people I know. In almost all cases, they're very smart people, and they're people of great common sense. They're not sending their good people out. They're sending the bad people out, and they put them into caravans. I think I came up with that name, but somebody did. It's a great name, a caravan. Thousands, and sometimes as many as 30,000 people walking right into our country. Again, so sad. We're going to fully fund the final sections of border wall, impose a new remittance tax on money sent back to foreign countries, and dramatically increase deportations to a bare minimum of 1 million illegal aliens per year. And what we're doing is we're really going after the criminal aliens, of which we have plenty to work with. People say, well, that's a lot, isn't it? Well, remember, these countries are very smart. They're headed up by people I know. In almost all cases, they're very.
Oh, I was just watching that clip again. Dude, if it's on autoplay, I was trying to change the lights. Yeah, he is. I think he's doing a 5% in remittance tax. It really should be higher than that. You know, there's some concern they might try and get around the remittance, but we'll see. Any truth to the rumor that crypto originating from the U.S. will soon have 0% capital gains tax, legit or would just... Oh, that's been a rumor for a while. Now, that's been a rumor for a while now. We'll see how far they take it. But they're going to have to do something with the way that crypto is taxed. Because the way it is currently, it cannot operate the way it is. It just can't. You cannot... The way it's taxed in terms of how many transactions people make with crypto, it's... And I know they have these apps to where you put all your transactions in and it does it for you, but it's just like... Something has to be done with the way we're taxed on crypto. But unfortunately, I feel like, you know, whatever Trump does with this crypto shit, the Democrats are just going to, if they get into office again, they're going to remove it. Not that it matters because, you know, we can make a lot of money and get out on no capital gains tax. That would be crazy. But that's been a rumor for a while that they're going to do that about eliminating capital gains tax. And then it's like, well, originating in the United States, it's hard to say because, you know, depending on the coins that you're in. But if you're in like there's definitely coins. If you're like you're into the higher caps, there's high cap US coins. But some of these meme coins, I just wonder, do they come from the United States or not? It becomes like a gray area. I mean, it's hard to really tell with them. %0 capital gains tax on crypto, the bull run. Yeah, is that going around again? That was a big thing because there was a lot of crypto initiatives and crypto hype back when Trump first came in, and then it died down. Which is, I mean, it was what happens. It's the news cycle. It's gonna die down. Yes, this stable coin. Dictator would have all 20 million out in no time. The illegals. Yeah, I mean, I mean, it is harder to do it the way that you know, in terms of they're talking about 1 million per year. It's kind of a low number, but I mean, that's just based off of infrastructure constraints and not being able to allocate certain funds for it, and you know, there's a lot that goes into it in terms of paperwork and things like that when it comes to deporting people. Unfortunately, I mean, hopefully they're not talking about self deportations as well, because if you count self deportations, I mean, there's more, but hopefully he's meaning physical deportations at around a million per year, which I think was the original number they wanted.
ICE is arresting 3 times as many criminals that the Biden administration did. We're taking public safety threats and national security threats off the street every single day. Well, we got over 600,000 illegal aliens with criminal histories walking the streets of this country. We got less than 5,000 deportation officers.
Didn't realize how many socialist mayors we have in these big cities. Well, dude, I do think New York City, you know, it's so crazy. You know, they said like 40% of New Yorkers were born in foreign countries. I mean, it's like, what even is that? Like, that's not even America. So you have to think with these big cities, it's just all transplants. It's just globalism. Globalism just seeps into these major cities. None of these people have any allegiance to the United States. They elect people that weren't even born here. This dude's born in Uganda. He's been a citizen for 8 years in the United States, and he wants to change our entire economic system in New York City. Fuck off. Like, you shouldn't be permitted to run, realistically. That's another thing people are talking about. You need to be born in the United States to run. And it's interesting. These major cities, they're globalist just cesspools. They're globalist cesspools of transplants, and none of these people care about the United States, and then they vote for other people that are come from other countries as well.
This should be a no-brainer. The more resources we get, if we get this bill passed, we got more agents on the road. We buy more beds, we get more transportation flights. More agents means more bad guys arrested, taken off the streets of this country every single day. Every day we arrest a public safety threat or national security threat. This makes this country much safer. Who the hell would be against that? And I get irritated, I get pissed off because...
Well, no, that's racist because you're going after minorities. I'm being sarcastic. But that's what they think, and that's what Mondani says. He says, Mondani even said, and this was like 4 years ago, they try and change it to where they're like less radical now when they run. So now he's like, no, I don't want to defund the police or anything like that. But he was saying something about how assault and felonies are they're like coded language. What deals happen? It was a trade deal with China. It's been officially announced by Trump and Ludnick. So there's and this is great news because that's the big one that we want to get done. And Trump said, we're going to start doing more of these deals and all of the trade deals, and it should really all be solved and calmed down. And so that might actually usher in an emergency rate cut. All right, I'm serious because just it looks so good to do. We're going to see if we get rate cuts. Every now and then you go back and rewatch your election night stream just to relive the night, the Seltzer poll. Yeah, that was a great stream for sure.
With the United States of America would have money coming in like at levels that they have never seen. I got a call the other day from the people in Congress because we're doing our bill. I didn't even tell you this, Mike, and they called. They said, there's something wrong with the numbers, sir. I said, what's wrong? I don't know. They're not balancing out. There's something really wrong. I said, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Well, we don't know. I said, what's the problem? We're taking in much more money than we have scheduled. I said, so far that sounds good. They said, how much is it? About $80 billion. I said, do me a favor, check the tariff line. They called me back an hour later. Sir, we've taken in $88 billion in tariffs. Isn't that a beautiful thing? $88 billion. I thought...
Phil, I appreciate that. $88 billion. I'm taking in $100. I appreciate that $100 donation.
I tell these little stories. Go off script.
The new way, another whale emerges.
And tell these little stories, Scott, right? Because it does make it a little more interesting. Although my speechwriters have just gotten every award in the book. Vince, where are you, Vince?
But yeah, they make $88 billion in 3 or 4 months. That's crazy if that's true. You know, that's like an average of 30 billion, 29.5 billion per month. Have you seen the polls data that shows Israel's favorability decreases drastically with each generation? Yeah, no, I mean, that's what all the polls say. But you have to understand, think about all the people in Congress right now. They all still have the old beliefs, so they've all got to move on. And then it'll change significantly. But what I wonder what Israel's trying to do about that, because they have to have some type of plan in terms of combating that. They have to know. How was 28 years later? I didn't like it. I didn't think it was very good. You know, the problem with that movie was it was really bipolar. They were trying to do this dynamic between father and son, and then they just cut the father off because there was impropriety and you know, it's just like the movie just kind of went in a weird direction in the second half, and it got really slow. So, and then it ended on like they were trying to make it a comedy thing. It's just strange. In the big beautiful bill, what would you like to see different? Well, I mean, you know what? I do think a pretty big thing, and a lot of people have been saying this about the public lands. We don't need to be selling public lands. You're making chunk change anyways for selling a bunch of the public lands. Maybe people might be overreacting a little bit, but yeah, I don't think the public lands should be sold. And then certainly, I mean, the military budget, but you're not going to, the military budget, technically, if you raise it, it does help the economy. It helps economic growth. But that's another thing to where I don't think we're, and then also I would like to see other cuts to, bloat and fraud and Medicare and Medicaid, but they're not going to be able to do that. It's basically unpopular things is what I would want to see, but like rigid Republican things that they're not going to be able to do. I know they tried to tackle Medicaid. They tried to tackle Medicaid, and it didn't end up working. Or I think they're still trying to cut it. We'll see. But it's like going into the Senate now, they're saying, well, maybe we might not cut it. 28 days was peak. Yeah, I mean, they tried to do another one. It just wasn't as good. Wow. Mean Gene with a response. Another one of these. $200. $200 and $100. Yeah, that's an impressive donation. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I remember when this happened, like 4 or 5 months ago. How many cuts have gotten passed in Congress by Doge? Well, right now I think only a few. Maybe only. I think only $9 billion worth. Eric glazing Trump. Yeah, I mean that's. Eric's got a big Republican base for sure. So. Cutting unemployment, young people seems fair. If you are able, you should work. Yeah, no, that is what they're doing. Isn't it under? I thought it was under 40. That's what it was based off of. They said they were going to save on Medicaid around. Originally, I thought the number was like 88 billion per year, but I don't know if it's that much. But it's a lot in savings. But it's being held up right now. It's being a little like it's being questioned. Yeah, I got 2 massive donations. I appreciate it. I don't know, a $200 donation. Maybe the last time was back in that other was like because I know I got some on election night for sure, but I think I got a few after that as well. $100, $200. $200 though is a bit up. That's an up the ante one. Saw your video yesterday. We're still with you, buddy. Yeah, no, that what the life update video. Or the channel update. Yeah, I hadn't done one of those channel updates in 2 years. The last one I did was in 2023. I think they're important for the channel, but obviously I don't because I haven't done one in 2 years. But no, I do think you should probably do like a channel update once every 3 months or 6 months, something like that. So maybe I'll start updating it every like 4 or 5 months. Did you buy some new jeans? Yeah, I mean, I ordered jeans a few days ago, actually. Crude oil prices doing well. Yeah, last time I checked, it was 64. But yeah, dude, with these oil prices, they're going to be forced to cut. They're going to be forced to probably do an emergency cut.
A few months ago, the press was saying, do you really have anybody of any interest? Well, we just signed with China yesterday, right? Just signed with China. We have everybody. We're not going to make deals with everybody. Some we're just going to send them a letter, say, thank you very much. You're going to pay 25, 35, 45%. That's the easy way to do it. And my people don't want to do it that way. They want to do some of it, but they want to make more deals than I would do. But we're having some great deals. We have one coming up, maybe with India, very big one, where we're going to open up India. In the China deal, we're starting to open up China, things that never really.
Yeah, I really only wear jeans and normally long sleeve shirts or sometimes short sleeve, depending. Even during the summer, But no, I'm not. I don't want to get a tattoo, honestly, man. You should start a second channel. Yeah, the problem with that is, like, if I legitimately tried to do that, it would. I don't think it would go very well, because it's extremely hard to start a channel on YouTube and for it to be successful. Even if I tell people about it, it would still be very hard. And I don't. It's one of those things to where I'd rather everything be on one. Next is Greenland. Get it done. That would be awesome. But dude, there would be so many people that hate that. I'll tell you what. That would be one thing that I'd be able to cover very well is if Trump acquired Greenland or tried to do something. But it's one of those things to where it's like you want to do it diplomatically. So we both know you've seen the mayoral primary in New York City. No, I don't think he has any chance, man. I don't think he has any. You're talking about Cuomo running as an independent? Is that what you're talking about? I think he needs to. I think they all need to drop out and try and let Adams. I think Adams probably, like, if you look at the betting, Adams has a 20% chance. The only other one is Mondani, who's at 80%. I think they should probably all drop out. Adams is the only one. Adams running as an independent, I think, is the only one that can beat him. And even that is iffy. But if you look at the vote splits, Adams is going to get all the minority vote. The minorities did not vote for Mondani. They voted for Cuomo, and I think they would vote for Adams. And then the Republicans vote for Adams as well to keep it from Mondani. That's what I would think. For a minute, it said 666 people were watching. Yeah, well, I mean, that can happen. Not a great number. Israel-Iran ceasefire, Iran nuke capacity destroyed in the most badass way. New trade deals, closed border, big beautiful bill. NATO paying their fair share, so much winning. Did I miss anything? Yeah, well, that is true. NATO now, they're saying it's going to be 5%, but they want to pay it. Now suddenly those countries really want to go through rearmament, and they've upped it. Because remember, Trump couldn't get those countries to pay 2% in terms of their military budget relative to GDP. Now they've upped it to 5%. And, that they got really scared when Ukraine got invaded. They got real scared. So they went from some of the countries not limping on paying 2%. Now they're at 5%, and they want to do it. So that's something. Yeah, it doesn't matter if they move the uranium, their centrifuges got destroyed. Their uranium is virtually, they can do dirty bombs, but for the capacity of a nuke, their chances of a nuclear bomb, their conversion facilities are destroyed. How are they going to create a nuke? There's many different factors that involved, and one of them is uranium enrichment. But yeah, they moved a lot of their uranium. I agree, but there's other facilities that have to be involved in creating a nuclear bomb. So even though they moved some of the uranium, it doesn't really matter. That's their only bargaining chip now, is probably the uranium. Think about it. How many centrifuges were in Fordo compared to anywhere else in that country? They had the vast majority of, I would imagine, in Fordo because of how secured it was. If we got the report that the centrifuges are just all blown up in Fordo, they're all just destroyed. Bet we get a surprise in the next year on that the A's have been sold. No, I agree with you 100%. They had the A's had Fisher. Well, what about the Rays owner and also Fisher? They're both just not horrible owners, and they can't move a team properly. It's just like they're moving both teams. They can't get new stadiums. They don't want to fund it. But now Fisher does this thing where they have this fake. They stage a groundbreaking. So the groundbreaking is not happening. They bring in this construction equipment. It's not even meant for the actual stadium construction, but they just put it there. It's like, this is such a joke. You know, he probably wanted to do that because he didn't want the press on his ass about the fact that they said they were going to do a groundbreaking in June. So he's like, well, let's just fucking stage it so they'll get off my ass and sometime in late June and just throw something out there. I mean, they still say they need $300 million. I don't know if they have that yet. They need $300 million in a loan from someone. They said they have maybe a few different people, so I don't know. Ensures illegal aliens who drive drunk get deported 246 to 160. I mean, they should be deported anyways if they just get pulled over and it turns out they're illegal. Trump PAC launches 1 million TV ads against Massey. Aggressive primary campaign against Massey. MAGA Kentucky is making the purchase. What do you think about fiat money? Is BTC the future? Yeah, I mean, I think to a degree, BTC. You know, you have to treat BTC like digital gold, more highly volatile digital gold. That's what BTC is. It's highly volatile. It can't be an actual currency because it's too volatile. But I mean, obviously, it's an investment that has all of the backing in the world into, you know, if you're worried about a digital investment, it's the one digital investment that has all the backing. It's got the ETFs, it's got all of the investments from, I mean, now the United States is going to be buying Bitcoin, like actually making investments into it. So even if it's just a hedge against inflation, you park your money there, you know. I think more and more people are going to start doing that. But it's not really it's not a currency because of the volatility of it. But honestly, it's gonna be less volatile as the market cap gets bigger and bigger. Did you see Elon Musk said he's gonna buy 50 billion in XRP? Uh, is that real? I know there's a lot of fake stuff with XRP, but if that is real, I guess that's interesting. Is he buying any other alts? No, I'm definitely not. I'm definitely not an XRP whale. Shift the tax burden from overtaxed homeowners in the outer boroughs to most expensive homes in richer and whiter neighborhoods. So they're admitting they're going to tax white people more. Thoughts on Justin Tucker suspension? I don't know. I heard he did, you know, he did some similar things to Deshaun Watson, but I don't know. I haven't looked into that case. Canada joining the EU is unrealistic. Canada is North America, not European. Yeah, but the thing is their values and their politics is more like the EU. That's why they would join them. But yeah, I don't see it happening. It would anger the United States, and would Canada really want to, have animosity against the U.S.? Yeah, I mean, this is New York City. Well, it's 45 of these people are foreign born. Dude, the 9/11 stuff I see, and I don't see a lot of it, and who knows? Who really knows? Maybe it'll start kicking up again. But just some of this 9/11 like boomer stuff I see on the conspiracies, it's raging again. I guess it'll just depend if it's relevant, like if they declassify anything, they'll probably be relevant again. Do you watch UFC? No, I don't. But did you see the thing with Liver King? So when is Liver King gonna fight Joe Rogan? That's what I'm trying to figure out. When is that fight happening? You have a 9/11 Building 7 story? Do I have one? I mean, Building 7, it's definitely strange. I'm doing a video right now on the commission report. It's hard for even me to do. The commission report was just such a joke. The 9/11 commission report, because I'm doing a video on it right now. It's like there's the the executive director of the commission report outlined what they could talk about, and he's a friend of W. Bush, and it was just such a shit show. They found out like one important detail on NORAD, and that was it. Trying to meet up and ski this year at Brandywine. I haven't been skiing in forever. As an adult, I would like to get back into skiing, honestly. Brandywine is tough, man. Well, it's Ohio skiing. It's Ohio skiing. I think there's only 3 resorts in Ohio. One of them I haven't even been to. It's like maybe Alpine Valley. Boston Mills, Brandywine, I've been to when I was younger. Ohio skiing is tough for sure. Beach resorts, Colin Rugg. Wander Franco found guilty. I think he got 2 years in jail. I don't think he's coming back to baseball at all. 50 Cent. What? I saw this. Oh, it doesn't have him, but 50 Cent offered to pay Mondani $250K to leave New York City after Mondani called him out during a recent podcast. Where did he come from? Whose friend is this? I'm not feeling this plan. No, I will give him $258K and a first-class ticket back to Uganda. Dude, 50 Cent is like, get the fuck out. 50 Cent's like, I'll give him $250K and a first-class ticket straight back to Uganda. Did you see Matt Walsh and Sneeko fighting? Yeah, I saw that. But Sneeko is just obsessed, and that wasn't even a dynamic. I don't think that was a big dynamic at all. New York City's extremely liberal. Extremely, extremely. I don't think the reason Mondani won was because he's not even anti-Zionist. He just said he wasn't going to visit Israel. Yeah, I've skied Holiday Valley. Holiday Valley is really the only good resort, like maybe outside of Vermont. Holiday Valley is the only good resort that's within 4 hours of me, legitimately, and it's barely within 4 hours of me. It might be like 4.5. Holiday Valley is a good resort. Other than that, there's like no resorts. Scroll down to the beach resort. Is this the beach resort you're visiting? This is beautiful. Well, he looks happy. There's like 3 slides. It's the same clip. That's a... I don't even think that background is real. Well, there's the North. You want to go to a North Korean water park. 2.5-mile stretch of beach in North Korea. Go vacation in North Korea. Man, another one of these situations. These are a dime a dozen at this point.
Do this. Be so selfish. Look, when you said apologize is the first thing I did. Don't forget that. Get out the plane.
Dude, how does this always happen? I mean, come on. Can you not walk? What the fuck am I seeing? Yeah, this man from the UK who threw a temper tantrum on his flight departing Bangkok.
Get out the plane.
Yeah, these kids abducted this poor swan.
Is outrage over the abduction of one of Mother Nature's most magnificent creatures, a swan. The suspect was caught running down the street with the giant swan tucked under his arm. Then he stuffs the bird into the back seat of the getaway car with his buddies. The 4 knuckleheads are cracking up as they take off.
It was a little brutal. You can tell they had experience holding these birds.
Stephanie Santiago witnessed the swan napping.
One of them was actually looking out the window with a stupid smile on his face. And I told him, I was like...
But you see, this is what we mean by etiquette. Societal etiquette is very important. This is a great example.
You're going to see me. Remember me, because you're going to see me again. And when you see me, you won't be smiling.
Swans are known for being territorial and making loud noises if a human gets too close. But the snatched swan is a species known as a mute swan. These swans are even quieter, so she didn't make a lot of noise when she was taken. To make this all the more upsetting, the swan had just given birth, and her lifelong mate has been calling out in distress, desperate for his long-lost love. Stephanie shared her video of the theft, and the Howard Beach community in Queens, New York, leapt into action.
The community was enraged. These birds are a fixture in our community. They have families, they have babies, they reproduce.
A resident spotted the suspects and called cops.
They have apprehended the vehicle that was used and involved with the swan abduction, and the vehicle and the occupants unfortunately have no swan with them.
So, what happened to the abducted swan from Queens? Unfortunately, it's a mystery.
We don't know if we'll ever see that.
Well, it won't be a mystery. They'll interrogate him, and one of them will say something. But that's a terrible story. And you know, when Trump talked about, I mean, that's, you remember with the Haitians, that's what they do. It's like their tradition. It's like that's within their culture to eat those type of animals. And then people said Trump was lying about them. You know, there's a different situation. But I had said they were taking swans. I said this is a thing that happens. And then there's another situation right there. They take a swan. You know, swans, they're majestic birds. You're not touching the swan. You don't touch swans. You don't touch animals, especially a neighborhood animal like that.
Catholic
And the
pro-life
problem
ministries
is
bombs.
we are not dealing
Catholic
with
pro-life ministries
America's
bombs. You're right.
original sin and its disease of hate and racism towards black and brown people and sexism towards women and anti-LGBTQ sentiment. We are not dealing with that. Your colleagues in the
Like every country in the world.
Republican Party do not hold each other accountable when it comes to the racism that comes from the party on a consistent basis.
Congressman, I mean, where are you on
You
the, where are
can't
the
be calm
assassination
about
attempts?
this. I'm a black man in America. The reason why heart disease...
I'm white, I can't comment on
Listen
that.
to what I'm
Is that
saying.
what
The
you're
reason
saying?
why heart disease and cancer
pretty
and
racist.
obesity
I can't
and
comment on
diabetes are bigger in the black community is because of the stress we carry from having to deal
And so there it is. Because of this racism, I guess in 2025, we're fatter because of racism. And so it's all blamed on this inherent racism from the 17 and 1800s.
with being called the N-word directly or indirectly every day. If your colleagues would listen...
And then they gatekeep and you can't address them. They say, don't address me because you're white. You don't know. So then how do I argue with you? Then why are you making a point to me if I can't respond?
Listen and try to learn and engage and grow and stop being so hateful, we could have a better country.
Jamal,
but unfortunately, we're still here.
Jamal,
The hate's coming from one side.
Jamal, I feel your passion, and I understand where you're coming from, sincerely. I really, really do. It happens on both sides, Jamal. You might think it happens more on your side. Jamal.
But it's like, are we able to actually point out some of the faults of if you're going to make it racial? Are we able to point out some of your side's faults or no? Then they just cry racism. So see, this is the issue. You can't really say anything. You thought they are fat because of the EBT food? Well, yeah. Have you seen the videos of that where they get they like brag about going to grocery stores and loading up the carts? They're like, "Oh, this is all food stamp money." But it's like you can't even argue because they say, "Well, you don't have the perspective." So then why are you talking to me if I don't have the perspective? Because like they want to be able to tell you stuff, but then you can't say anything to them. Okay, that's then what's the point of even conversing? And then you got this old white boomer who's just trying to like skate by and not say anything.
Oh, Jamal, when I leave the show, Jamal, you should see my Twitter feed. I mean,
and they're acquitted. Rodney King, Abner Louima, Eric.
How are you, man? It's good to see you on here, man. Really. How's Iran? How's Iran doing, man? That was it looks like we got a ceasefire now. That's good. My Iran friend just messaged in the chat. The fact is, Zoran is a fucking horrible candidate. The only reason why people would have voted for him is because of his Israel stance. No way he's actually positively got him the win. No, I don't think so, man. You really think, dude, the demographic that voted for him did not vote for him because he's based on Israel. The demographic that voted for him, like 25-year-old liberal women, it's because of this. I mean, the problem with New York City, go look at the demographics of New York City. It's probably a little bit different than what you think. Make whites tribal again. Thank you for the donation. At some point, the administration needs to make an actual push for Greenland. Getting tired of them flirting with it. It's ours. Well, the problem with it is it's you're trying to do it diplomatically. They could just secure the island by sending our army to it, but sending troops to it. I don't know if you want to do that. But I hear you, man. I do want them to take Greenland. I think Trump wants to take Greenland during his term. I know people say it's going to be a longer process. It'll happen under Vance. Maybe that's true. But there's been, Greenland is starting to sign these deals with other countries. Like, I think they signed a deal with the UK, a mineral deal or a mining deal. They're possibly signing a deal with China. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with Greenland. But I would like to get it as well. I got to get a haircut, at least my sides. Typhoon, you're my best crypto friend. Dude, I'm waiting for my coins. I'm just waiting. Your regime claims win in war. What do you think? Yeah, I mean, I think it's, you know what? I heard you guys hit Israel really hard. You guys hit Israel with hypersonic missiles, and they got hit hard. I agree, but I don't know, man. We destroyed all of your centrifuges in Fort O. I mean, that's reported. That's accurate. So you guys lost your number one top nuclear facility that took you like 15 years to build. I don't know. It's one of those things to where it's fog of war. Israel got hit pretty hard, but you guys got hit hard with your facilities. Zoran isn't even based on Israel. No, I agree with you 100%. He's got a normie stance on it, but it's because that debate clip. That's why Sneeko and started to be like, oh, he's so based. He said he wouldn't travel to Israel, but he's like, no, it should exist. I like it. So he has a normie stance on it. But I agree. I mean, Cuomo is just like, the other choices are so bad. That's the other problem. Like, Cuomo is a has-been who has scandal after scandal. The DG2 uploads. Yeah, I gotta finish out the maps. What other maps do I have? Call of the Dead 5. NATO called Trump daddy. The tide is turning. Yeah, I think NATO now is you know what? That's one of the other things I was thinking about. NATO is kissing up to Trump. It's going to help Trump get Greenland. This is an interesting dynamic to actually think about. 100%. NATO was at that, the countries at that summit were kissing up to Trump. They know they need Trump. Trump is saying me and Zelensky had a great conversation. The European relationship to a degree is being repaired. Trump can go and get Greenland now. I mean, if we get a better relationship with these NATO countries, maybe it's a little wishful thinking. It's a little wishful thinking, but still. I mean, it's possible. But dude, like when is this fight gonna happen?
But Rogan versus Liver King, again, it's not what you think. I'm talking about the filmmaker, the funny, the actual genius comedian, good and true. That guy's good and true. I'll pick a funny fight with him. So we're gonna go there for that reason. But 200 yards. Restrain myself I must do. If anybody, here's how we do it. If anybody's last name is Rogan and you're in the capital of Austin, Texas, like Capitol Hill stuff place, like we make laws like Rogan versus Liver King, where
his mugshot is right out of a horror movie. Yeah, I think he's supposed to fight Rogan soon, he's saying.
Bullies that are big, that don't just do good and true, are held accountable. Yeah, that's where I'm gonna go. So if you don't mind, just don't be there for a little while within 200 yards. Oh, how about this? If your first name starts with a J and the last name is Rogan, announce yourself if you're at Capitol, in the actual Capitol, like where it looks really cool. Where is it at? Where are you at, Capitol? That's
all right. That's enough of that. Joe coin looking good. Yeah, no, there's been some people that have told me about that. The Joe coin on Ethereum. Yeah, this dude's high. This dude's on some drugs. Yeah, that's when can we sleep together? I don't even know what your name is. It's I want to suck it, and then it cuts off. I'm glad it cuts. I'm glad it cuts off. He was spending 10K per month on. Yeah, he said he didn't do steroids. Turns out he was spending 10K.
I'm a killer. I get in the ring with the best people. And you get in the ring with a guy who's 50, he's literally nearly as old as me. The only proper boxer you fought was Tommy Fury, and he beat you.
Fought multiple boxers with professional records, including Mike Tyson himself.
Peak Tyson, you wouldn't have lasted 10 seconds.
And you versus going to the gym, you're still a fat ass. We can make up hypotheticals. You should go to the gym. If you went to the gym,
I've been twice this week. You
don't think I can be Mike Tyson. I don't think you go to the gym.
I think you're a great YouTuber.
You think that your opinion matters.
Well, why are you doing my show if it doesn't?
Oh, I'm just taking your audience to sell pay-per-views. I don't give a fuck about your show. You dumbass. This is a fucking business enterprise.
Cheers, Jake. Really enjoyed it.
Well, talk about Sneeko having a complete downfall ever since he moved to New York. Went total lefty. Also, Candace said he regrets voting for Trump. Well, he's just on the whole anti-Israel stuff. It's like he's so obsessed with it now. And, you know, he misreads it. He's like, oh, it's because he's based against Israel. That's not why he won it all. Look at the voter block. These are 25-year-old liberal women voting for him. They love socialism. That's why they voted for him. Look at New York City. It's a cesspool of just liberals. So a socialist can very easily win it. It's not about, oh, he's going to stay in New York. It has nothing to do with how those people voted. Cuomo was just really bad. But also, Mondani did run a way better campaign in terms of young people, and just, it is what it is. China will supply rare earth minerals to the U.S. Well, they already were, but I think this is probably in the deal because that was one of the leverage plays China had over the United States. That's why we need our own supplies of rare earths. We're almost 6 months in, and the Trump administration's still holding the line. Yeah, I agree, man. The court stuff is annoying. The Epstein thing it's going to have to be addressed at some point. It is. But I think it's a complicated thing. What are Republicans doing in New York? Can we not get a good candidate? Adams would be the closest thing to having a chance. He'd be an independent. He used to be a Democrat. But, yeah, he's mired in his own legal issues, Eric Adams is. But New York City is just very liberal. I mean, it's a big city with highly densely populated area, 45% foreigners. I mean, what do you expect? Does the GOP get a boost from the win of the socialists? Could it? Yeah, no, that's another thing that certainly anytime there's a dynamic to where there's a either like a farther left person, it's going to open the door for some moderate liberals to vote conservative. Independents more so will likely vote conservative, or not conservative in this case, for Adams, I would imagine. Because it's going to be Adams. I mean, if you look at the betting, Adams is at 20%, and Mondani's at 80%, none of the others. There's no conservative that really has a chance. So it would have to be Adams. And it would be like the independent crowd. It would be the moderate left. It would be the minority left who does not like Mondani. It would be the right wingers who don't want Mondani, so they'll vote for Adams. Like that's how it's setting up, I would imagine. Yeah, I mean when you change your name, when you have your name like that, I mean that's like a dead giveaway, man. Come on. I mean, is it really necessary to do that? Maybe that's happened a few times to me. Did you see Pam Bondi? U.S. government sued every federal judge in all major Democrat blue cities. Yeah, I mean, but it's just, the judges are just, they have no actual authority. The Democrats they don't have control of Congress, so they try and the way that they try and exude power over the executive is by these local judges. If Matt Gaetz ran for NYC mayor, would he win? No, he wouldn't win. It's too liberal. NYC's too liberal. I don't think any conservative would win unless like Mondani gets something happens to him, because he is very, very, he's very left wing. So that opens the door to a degree, more so than Cuomo. I mean, Cuomo would be a total shoe-in, and Mondani kind of already is a shoe-in just because the liberal wins. But it's a little bit different now with how liberal he is. Can you show us Social Network? Are they actually making a Social Network too? Honestly, the thing is with movies, this is how bad it is. Social Network was a great movie. They need to bring back Jesse Eisenberg, and if they do a second one, but I don't even know what the second one would be. They're saying, well, it's going to be during Zuckerberg's trials, which I don't even think is worthy of a movie. But I would love to see a Social Network too, because of how bad the movies have been, recently. So I would love to see that with Eisenberg and Andrew Garfield. Well, actually, I don't think Andrew Garfield would be in it because his character would be out of it. But yeah, it would be great to see that. Social Network 2 is going to go woke. Well, yeah, I think because Facebook went woke the company, remember? And they still kind of are, but Zuckerberg was trying to get out of it. They went woke for a while, and then Trump won, and so Zuckerberg said, "No, we're not doing that anymore." Wild how judges can completely ignore legal ethics. Yeah, they get any judge that any Democrat judge that goes against Trump gets extra funding. They're taken care of for sure. I mean, their reputation might take a hit because we know why they're doing it. But then, I mean, how many times have we seen this happens to where there'll be a rogue judge that goes against Trump? It forces it to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court rules in Trump's favor, 6-3. We are so close to die. What, Iran? I don't think so, man. I think you guys will be all right in Iran. Trump knows it would sink his administration. We got into a war with you guys. Any films looking forward to, or is it all slop? Yeah, I mean, there was one that's interesting. It's from I think it's a Stephen King novel. Like you have to walk 3 miles per hour or more. I only know this because I was seeing the previews of when I went to see that movie. There was about 10 previews, just an insane amount of previews. They 30 minutes of previews. There was one decent one. That was the only decent one. Like the premise is you have to walk a certain amount of time. If you don't like keep up at like 3 miles per hour, then they'll shoot you. So it was interesting. But even that, it seems like it's probably low budget. China unveiled mosquito drones for stealth warfare. I saw that. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure the US has some stuff like that as well. We could only hope. Musk is going to be in Social Network too. I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on the story. The Rogan Zuckerberg episode was tough to watch. You hate the humanoid. Rogan kind of called him out though. Well, which I think Rogan's done several different episode podcasts with Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg, it's important for him to go on there because he thinks it humanizes him. And to a degree it does. When you do a long form podcast, especially with Rogan, who's very laid back and really not going to confront people to a high degree. I mean, he'll sometimes do it, but more times than not, if you go on Rogan, you're probably going to be more likable. Although I don't know, there's some like comedian women that went on and people just fucking they would hate them. When are you going to invest in the stock market and make some real gains? Well, I'm going to make some serious gains with crypto. But, the stock market is a lot safer, I agree. And it's, if you want to be safe with your money, the stock market, certainly. Why do blue cities still think they're desirable to go these days? Big cities peaked in the 90s. Or I know it's at a certain point the problem with the big cities. I mean, and certainly, you know, I remember going to Chicago in like 2015, and it's really fun to go to a big city every now and again, but living in one has got to be just miserable. Well, for me, it wouldn't make sense because the amount of people, I just could never do it. And you'd want to have your own like land, you know, even if it's just like a half an acre, quarter acre, whatever, just your own house plot with a backyard and a front yard. You know, I would never want to live in an apartment to where there's no grass, and that's what all these kids like living in. But you know, you have high crime. You know, you're living in an apartment. It's extremely expensive, and you there's just nowhere for you to actually exist. It's like I would never want to live like that. But it's like it's diminishing. I feel like the amount of people that want to do it, especially younger people. Although I don't know, there are a lot of young people that live in cities. But I mean, at a certain point, if you want to have a family, there's no way you can live in a big city. Why isn't crypto pumping from this China deal? Because this was priced already into the market because Trump said the deal was going to happen 2 weeks ago. But I mean, it's also just a trade deal at the end of the day. But either way, it's bullish because this is the type of thing that'll be a catalyst for a rate cut. The most recent episode of Zuckerberg and Rogan he was trying to be cool. Yeah, well, he's trying to appeal to people, and he knows he has the self-awareness to realize he comes off like a robot. I mean, he changed his entire hairstyle and added those chains and everything. If you look at Zuckerberg now, remember he was gonna fight Musk, and then I think he backed out of it. You know, he pulled a muscle or something. He's getting to like jiu-jitsu. You can live in a suburb in a big city. Yeah, but I feel like suburbs within big cities are very expensive relative to other suburbs. I guess it depends. But I would rather live in like I don't want when like in terms of living in a suburb, the hub city, the city within, I don't want the city to be massive. I would never want to do that because I don't want to go get my groceries in a massive city, you know, that has millions upon millions of people. The hub city, like if I live in a suburb outside of a city or like right within a city, but I'd want the city to have honestly similar to what I have. I don't know how many people live in my city right now, but maybe a little bit less than the city I'm currently in. So it's like decent, and it has everything you would want, everything that you would need. But I would never want to live in like a suburb of a huge city. Zuck looks 20, not gonna lie. His wife looks 50. Well, I mean, yeah, he's got a lot of money. Yeah, it can help significantly with aging. Which of your coins are pumping? I don't think really any of my coins are pumping right now, honestly. They're all stagnant. I mean, none of them are dropping. They're all kind of stagnant. They've been stagnant for a little. I mean, what SPX 2.0 pumped a little bit like last week, and so it did like a 4 or 5x for me. Chill House. Check out Chill House. Give us your thoughts. What Chill House? A coin? Meme coin on Solana. Chill House. Yeah, is it off of the house narrative, the house coin? That was always a strange narrative. But I mean, that coin did crazy things. It went to like 100 million. Any thoughts on the NBA draft? Like players crying about where they got drafted? It just shows you how pampered they are now. It really shows you how pampered they are. These kids are they're spoiled. They're babies. All these sports players are just getting worse and worse with the entitlement. It's just, now it's getting so bad they just cry about I went to the city I didn't want to go. But it's the next manifestation of just how society has gone in terms of these kids and how spoiled they are. Because I did see some about that. It's just like, dude, really? Snatched up BTC and Ethereum when it dumped to 100K, 2.5K. Yeah, I mean, I think Ethereum, you'll probably get a 4x out of Ethereum. Well, I don't want to predict that because Ethereum's been underperforming. I can't believe it's still light out right now at 9:20 at night. Yeah, I saw that Israel got like 2 players drafted to the Nets. Why do you think altcoins have been so disappointing so far versus last bull run? Well, I mean, if you look at the dominance and how it normally goes, it's at the way end. We have to wait, but it's a number of things. Altcoins in general have just gotten oversaturated to shit. Bitcoin has become globally accepted. It's globally accepted as digital gold. So, I mean, think about the ETFs, all the investment that's going to keep it up significantly. But also, this is Bitcoin season. It's only alt season for a few months normally. So we have to wait, but the BTC dominance is certainly, it just keeps going up. And at a certain point, it's going to turn down after BTC hits a high, then it'll go down, and then the alt dominance will go up, and then that's when everyone will dump money into alts, hopefully. But yeah, it's performed worse this cycle, but it's a combination of things. I think BTC is just accepted more. Musk really fucked us investors pissed off and left, right? And Europeans can't have such a bipolar CEO. Well, with Tesla? I mean, I think Tesla will be fine. But Musk, I think, has been calming down, probably in an effort to right, that stock to a degree.
I don't want to invade Iran. I don't want to put American soldiers on the ground. But I would love to see the Ayatollah go away or change, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see all the guys that hate America go, but it's just not always the best way to do it is to get the U.S. military involved. Do you think the U.S. military should get involved in regime change in Iran?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Okay, so the bottom line is I hope the Iranian...
And so now Lindsey Graham comes out against wanting the U.S. involved in regime change. What state do you live? Yeah, there it is. Thoughts on ex-influencers? Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a way to make money. Seems like a tough way to make money, but it depends how many times you tweet per day, your interactions. I don't even have the monetization thing, so I don't even know in terms of how much you can actually make off of X. No, Ethereum will not. You have to understand, Ethereum. The Ethereum is it has more utility than Bitcoin. Like Ethereum is, it's a huge chain. So it'll never go down that low. It's just impossible. It's used too much. $8.50 per million impressions. That seems like nothing, honestly. What do you think of Vitalik? Yeah, he's kind of a. I haven't heard much of him recently. I think he's from Russia, the creator of Ethereum. I mean, kind of a weird super genius. Yeah, you're right. I mean, you have to do sponsorships 100%. Yeah, sponsorships can make you a ton, especially through X. You have to do sponsorships. Like all the TikTok people have to do sponsorships.
I don't know why you guys are so worried about Iran having a nuclear weapon, because nuclear weapons don't kill people. People kill people, right? 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 Remember we had this talk? It's not the nuclear weapon that's going to do damage. It's the person.
Yeah, but I mean, couldn't you just say they chant they want to kill us, and so that's why we're worried because they're going to? I mean, I don't know.
Okay, well then why? Who cares? Let them have one. Right? That's the problem. Yes? Remember? Hello? The hypocrisy is hypocrisying. It's not the nuclear weapon that's going to do any damage. It's the person. We should.
Right, and they say, and listen, I don't even care about it, but when they chant "Death to America" and stuff, that's the concern. Is that Bannon? I think Bannon's in better shape. You're doing Bannon a disservice. You're doing Bannon a disservice. Thoughts on the new water park in North Korea? It looks beautiful. Did you watch 28 years later with that girl? I'd have to buy 28 bags of popcorn if I did that. She should go to Iran for a few years and see if she still thinks that way. Hell, we gotta make sure she gets 2 plane tickets. I mean, what about now where they say, well, if you're overweight, you shouldn't have to get 2 plane tickets. You know, they try arguing that now. I think they just want attention. It's like, my goodness. It's fat phobic. I shouldn't have to get 2 plane tickets even though I can't fit in one. You ever gambled in a casino? In a casino, not of any length or anything like that. I don't remember. When I was younger, I went to Las Vegas. I wasn't even old enough to do it. But no, not in a casino, I don't think. I don't really gamble anymore, honestly, at all. On sports or anything like that. What's the latest updates? Well, there's actually a lot going on with the Middle East and stuff. I haven't really talked about it, but yeah, Trump is trying to facilitate some type of deal with Netanyahu on the Hamas situation, and maybe that'll get worked out, hopefully. But they're talking about doing some type of deal. You know, Israel wants, they want the West Bank to be recognized, areas within the West Bank to be recognized by the United States as part of Israel. I think that might be part of the deal, honestly. And what happens to Gaza, it gets redeveloped as some type of investment zone. Why haven't you seen any actual fat people lose weight from Ozempic? Why is it always normal people becoming anorexic? No, I've seen fat people lose weight on it for sure, on Ozempic. You can kind of tell too by the build of it. You know, when they lose, people always say it's the sunken face with the Ozempic, but there's other. I feel like you can just tell. How's the revenue you watch on mobile for ads on your videos? Least I get. Yeah, I mean, you know, it doesn't matter if you skip the ads or whatever. You know, I think it kind of all works itself out anyways, whether people skip the ads or have an ad blocker. But I mean, I know YouTube is really pissed off about the ad blocker thing because I was on YouTube today on this computer, and I guess on this computer I'm not signed in, and I had an ad blocker, and they got really fucking pissed at me, which I guess is the good thing for me. You know, because you know, I need the ads, but yeah, the revenue's been pretty good for me on live streams. Live streams, the revenue's been good for me. Even the leaders of Iran believe the U.S. attack and damage. Yeah, no, I know. Iran has admitted there was serious damage. You know, I heard the centrifuges got annihilated. That's huge if that's true. Especially in Fordo. That's their main one. Did you know CNN has a reporter in Iran? Well, yeah, they're global. CNN is. You know, they've got reporters everywhere. But I wonder if they've actually changed what they've been reporting. Now they're talking about, oh, the senators are talking about the what is this? Seriously, you have to subscribe for this? I detest Netanyahu, but on some things he's actually right. Nancy Mace is a grifter. When Trump was going through all the legal shit, wish she was a huge rhino. Oh yeah, all those women are grifters, dude. They're all grifters. We want the World War II video you were talking about making on the other stream. Yeah, I do want to make that video after if Germany would have won. Germania, I think is what it is with Speer, the architect. You think I should continue with the live streams? Don't need to be daily, but consistent. Channels don't die because of too many videos. They die because of lack of it. Yeah, I mean, I think it depends with the live streams. I mean, if I really think about it, it's like, you know, I was doing live streams every day at a certain point, but it does get stale. It gets stale to where there's not, you know, with my streams, it's like there has to be stuff that happens in the media and in the news. Because if there's not, you know, unless I start doing like drama shit, yeah, there's going to be less for me to talk about. And that's kind of what happened to me. And I think that's kind of why they got stale. But, I mean, yeah, the streams, I think the stream, because the thing is if I don't do a stream, more than likely I'll just do like a 9/11 video or something along that line, and the video will probably do pretty well. So, I mean, it's one or the other, I would say. Because, I mean, this, you know, if it's 2 or 3 hours, however long the stream ends up being, you know, I could do a video probably within that time frame. Depending on the video. Some videos I could do faster, but with videos like that, it'd be a bit longer. Some videos I could do in 20 minutes, but those are mainly the political ones where I'm just have the camera on, so there's no editing. Man, this chat is... Okay, it was glitched there for a second. Fate of Iran's enriched uranium is a mystery. Yeah, they'll start fear-mongering about this. I mean, you're not going to know exactly where it is. You're not going to know exactly where the enriched uranium is. Lena J, thank you for the 20 Canadian dollars. I appreciate it. Thank you. Such a bullshit report. What, this report? Well, I mean, we're not going to know exactly where their uranium is. You know, it got moved out. Man, this photo's from 2007. You'd think you could get a newer one. You can't move enriched uranium. Yeah, you can. You can't move centrifuges. You can move enriched uranium, especially because depending, it could, you know, when it's a solid form, you can move it. That's got to be a bot. That comment. Feel like it's like fear mongering for Israel. Feel like they probably lost a lot of it moving. Yeah, I mean, it is, some of it's fear mongering for Israel, for sure. But I mean, to me, it doesn't even matter. Look at what Trump's been saying. He's been saying that their program's been destroyed, and he doesn't want any more involvement in the Middle East, or at least in this conflict. You know, they still have the situation with Palestine and Israel, but what's your favorite season? I'd say fall is my favorite season. You know, I like the temperature when it's in the 50s mainly. 50s, 60s is good. Israel doesn't do ceasefires unless they're in a position where they're losing. Thing with Gaza is they've completely lost the PR war. Yeah, I know. Well, with Gaza, it's like, I mean, they've gotten yeah, they've annihilated Gaza. I don't know what they thought was going to happen there. You know, I heard about this with Israel. I don't know if it's true. They've been like censoring stuff in terms of how hard the attack was, the Iran attack. Apparently, Iran hit them pretty hard. Now, obviously, the people that hate Israel, and there are plenty of them, are going to say, "Oh, Iran crushed Israel, and Israel's hiding all of it." But apparently, I mean, Iran did hit Israel and Tel Aviv with hypersonic missiles. I mean, that did happen. So, you know, but then there's talk about Iran possibly running out of their own missiles. I don't know. And they really weren't sending many missiles towards the end. And then you look at what Iran does against the United States, where they kind of just, I mean, it's like total appeasement. They tell us the exact number of missiles and where they're going. Going to take Iran another 15 years to build a new facilities, but people act like it can be rebuilt and rebuilt. Yeah, but it's difficult to understand exactly what got destroyed in terms of like projecting how long it would take to rebuild. But I do think that, you know, if their conversion facility got destroyed, I think it's going to take a while to rebuild all of that. Most of their centrifuges got destroyed, you know, it just depends, because they're at the point to where they already have enriched uranium, and we don't know if they have any secret facilities. We don't know, you know, maybe extra infrastructure that, I mean, you would think we have pretty good intelligence, but that's just the concern. Juan, what's up? What's up, man? Their scientists are dead too. I mean, a few of them are. Are you going to make a tech channel and sell out? A tech channel? No. Is the thing northwest of the holes the ventilation ducts? No, I think they hit the ventilation shafts. But I don't know. I'd have to see that photo again. Oh, this is the photo right here. Yeah, I'm guessing they hit right into the ventilation shafts. I believe this is maybe some type of shell that was underneath that got pushed up, like some type, maybe the wall support, some type of support is what from underground that possibly got pushed up. Maybe that's what that is. I don't know. How big are those vents for 30K bombs to fit in there? Well, I mean, I think they had the vents covered up as well. They were moving a bunch of shit and covering up a bunch of shit. That's what Trump was saying earlier today. He said they covered a bunch of it up. Philip, thank you. I appreciate it. Do streams that focus on strategies for people to build relationships and intimacy sucks. Topics like that always generate interest and engagement. Is that an AI? Musk's tweets are always kind of boring, man. They're always just promotion for his companies. Yeah, I don't know what that donation was, honestly, man. I mean, I think everyone likes Italian food. Everyone likes carbs. What is American like burgers? I mean, yeah, American. Mexican, Chinese, like once every 6 months, Chinese food is good. I mean, but the Chinese food we have in the United States, it's like it's just rice and fucking breaded chicken. KP, I appreciate the $20 donation, man. Keep going, man. All of your content is super interesting. Love the hangouts. Appreciate the channel update. Always support you, man. I appreciate that, man. Thank you for the donation. Titan 74. Want to slide down the holes and see the damage? Yeah, I mean, you just have to be worried about the contamination. You know, you'd have to be, because there's got to be some shit that got released, you know, into the air if you send a bomb down into a nuclear facility. There's got to be some bad fucking fumes that got released out of that. They should send some type of drone down. I mean, obviously, I do want to see, like, just the interior of it and how bad it is. I wonder if we'd ever get photos of that at any point. Probably not. Mexican food is just rice and beans and tortillas. Yeah, tacos.
Buonasera. Si conclude un vertice importante, tanto chiaramente per gli impegni.
Un messaggio molto importante, mi pare di avervi detto tutto.
Non c'è stata la reazione di Trump
su una politica espansiva.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. Guarantee Fordo is completely smacks. 420K pounds of ordnance that get shoved down their ventilation systems. No, it has to be destroyed. That's why the new report is all the centrifuges got annihilated. They had to have, unless they have. The only thing you can think of is if the way in which that Fordo was built was like in a zigzag or something, to where, you know, because if it goes down there, anything near it is just going to be blown outwards. It's going to be blown out through the centrifuges, and the explosion will reach all of the areas, because it'll just be compounding on each other, and the energy gets more and more as more things catch. So they had to have just annihilated pretty much all of their centrifuges, unless they had their centrifuges built, you know, in like a weird way to where they were able to contain it somehow. Philip, I appreciate it. It's not AI. Ask your subscribers to share what works with them and what doesn't. Too many people are struggling with building worthwhile relationships. What do you mean? What works with them? You have a thriving relationship with AI? Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, well, this was a weird... I saw this today.
Get away from her! Get away from her! Hey! Get off of her!
The duck.
Hey! Stop it! God damn it, get us a net! Is everybody just standing around?
How do you figure more ducks get made?
I know. She thinks it's ducks killing the other duck because it's losing feathers.
Hey!
And she's just making it more scared.
Oh my god.
Is that illegal?
They're leaving. They're leaving.
Oh wow. That's great. That's great. She's just interfering with life. That's what ducks are. I think if the duck goes all the way out there, she's gonna fall.
They're just gonna fly away.
He's gonna start
Dumb
shaving.
bitch.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Was watching your Shangri-La video and DG2. What's up with those textures? Yeah, it's just texture loss from BO1. I mean, if I had like plutonium or something, I wouldn't have that, but I don't have that. So you're gonna have texture loss on some of the maps. You know, it was really bad with Call of the Dead, like when I was younger, back in like 2017, 2018. But I guess Shangri-La is really bad. There's like black spots. But these ducks are trying to mate, and this woman's like, "Get off of the woman duck! Get off of the woman duck!" Yeah, I wasn't expecting to receive a donation like that. Can you teach us to build worthwhile relationships, sex? I really, especially nowadays in terms of modern, I get too many of these videos of these women constantly bitching, and, you know, women just massive inflated ego is really because of the dating apps. It's real bad. It really is bad. And that's why with women, you know, there was also another thing. I'll show you guys some stuff. I was going to maybe add this in a video. I never got around to it. Do you support Palestine? Yeah. Okay. You know what? If it's not going to work out, honey. It's not going to work out. We're not going to do this. If you care this deeply about Palestine, I'm not interested, honey. It's not going to happen. Just because you know it's just going to go badly. You get a response like that immediately. So these two set up a date. Hey, just confirming we're still good for tonight at 8:30. Yes, that works. Just want to make sure. I don't know if this is real or not. Just want to ask one thing to make sure we're on the same page and not waste our time. Did you vote for Zoran for mayor? I'm really excited he won. Probably a 22-year-old white girl that said that. That'd be my guess. Canceled the reservation. It's just not worth it. You know what? It's just not gonna work. Just not gonna work. When you get a girlfriend, will you bring her on stream? It's awkward, man. What happened to Fort Knox? Yeah, Fort Knox is gone. they demolished Fort Knox. No, I'm kidding. I don't know what happened to Fort Knox. Whatever happened to the meme coin? Thing's probably at 10K now. Logitech webcam. I don't think it's a Logitech. I'm getting a new webcam anyways, though. I'm gonna have to get like a $500 one, so it should be upgraded. I don't think it's gonna be perfect HD, but if I get a $500 webcam, it should be upgraded pretty significantly. I used to have a Logitech webcam that was only like $100. It was terrible. No way I could date liberal, and yeah, I certainly could not. You know, with my videos and stuff, it's not even worth. You know, it's just. $100 is not enough for a camera. Oh no, it's not even close. And isn't that crazy? Yeah, but not even close. Dude, the iPhone has fucking way better cameras. If you buy a $500 camera, the iPhone has better quality, 100%. If you want an actual good camera that has like really good quality, it's $1,000. Like even same thing with a webcam, same thing. Sony camera is pretty good. I mean, it depends which model you get, I'm sure. You believe the important thing because to ceasefire was oil price? Well, yeah, they wanted the oil price to go down, but you guys didn't close the strait. You can't close it because it would be very bad for your country if you closed it. But yeah, in part, they had to. But I also think both Israel and Iran wanted it. That's why it happened. You use an iPhone to film your YouTube. Oh yeah, iPhone 100% to film YouTube videos. Don't even try and get unless you're willing to drop $1,000 on an actual camera. You know, at a certain point, you do need to get a camera if you're a professional, because iPhones, it's just not. Although I don't know, now they've got the space for it. Now they've got like what 124 gigabytes for an iPhone. The thing is with iPhones, I don't know if it's still like this, but it was for 1 minute it was basically 1 gigabyte of storage, which I guess doesn't really matter now because if you have like 124 gigabytes, but you know the iPhones used to be like 32 gigabytes. So for one minute, 1 gigabyte, that's tough. It might be better now. I don't know. $128. One inch of rain expected on Friday. Your iPhone has 1 terabyte, so 1,000 gigabytes. Yeah, the only thing that has terabytes for me is like computers and shit. A phone having a terabyte. What did you get, an upgraded storage or some shit? I think the highest the iPhones go, yeah, is 256. I don't know how you get 1,000 gigabytes on an iPhone if you have to upgrade it. That's a customization. You paid $1,600 for iPhone 15 Pro upgrade storage. Wait, so the phone and the upgraded storage, or was the upgraded storage that much? The minimum is 256 gigabytes. The max is 1 terabyte. Wow, I'm really behind the times. Mine only has, my 14 only has like 128. I didn't realize they had 1 terabyte iPhones. I mean, I guess they could just keep expanding now exponentially with storage just because of the tech. That's really the only thing iPhones are good for in terms of their improvement every year, I guess, is storage expansion. So what are they on, the 17 now? Are they on the 16 or 17? You have an additional 2 terabyte cloud for $10 per month. Yeah, I mean, if you have, 2,000 gigabytes worth, it's really not an issue in terms of filming videos, I guess. They're on the 16. 17 is coming this fall. I think I have the 15. Yeah, I have the 15. But I don't have the, I was able to upgrade, and it didn't cost money or, like, some bullshit with the plan. But I didn't buy the Plus, so I actually went to a smaller model. It was very annoying for a little bit, but now it's all right. But I do like the bigger screen. Like, if I could upgrade again, I'd get the bigger screen 100%. Even though it's a big phone, but I want the bigger screen. The bigger screen is better. But they got all these different ones now. Like the Plus X or whatever the fucking it's like all like 5 or 6 different models with the iPhones now, I know. Your dad bought an iMac in 2008. Dude, I bought my first iMac I got was like 2017. The thing got run into the ground. It was so, I don't know how many videos I uploaded. This was my old YouTube channel. I probably uploaded like 300 videos, but the thing was just beaten to death. I think it was a 1 terabyte storage, but bro, iMacs are just not good for anything OBS at all. There's no streaming. iMacs are just, I mean, maybe MacBook Pros. I never had a MacBook Pro, but maybe MacBook Pros are better, but iMacs are just really bad. But I have an iMac here, but I don't record videos on it. And the only thing I'll do is record audio. Yeah, I always used to get the Plus as well. But this iPhone that I have, I don't it's not the Plus. It's just the original like 15. You had the Beach Ball on iMac? Well, I had an old iMac, and then I got a newer one probably in 2022. I got this newer iMac. And this one's been good because I haven't run it into the ground. I haven't been uploading videos on it or anything. Everything has handled on this new gaming PC that I got. That cost about $1,400. You went from an iPhone 6 to 16. I don't know how you could be on an iPhone 6, at this point. They don't even have the iOS updates when you go that far back. The daddy thing is kind of gay and cringe, not gonna lie. Well, it's just like, I mean, I thought it was funny, but, it does, at a certain point it gets old. But it was funny because it was just kind of the happenstance of it. You game on PC? No, I don't. I just bought it for streaming. Well, I guess I shouldn't characterize it as a gaming PC. It's like a minimal gaming PC, but it's just more so for me to be able to stream with 0 interruptions, which there are interruptions. I lose the goddamn internet. I got this thing and I had to get an adapter. I had to get a Wi-Fi adapter for it because for whatever reason, I'm in the same area I was, but this computer, it will not pick up proper Wi-Fi. So I had to get a Wi-Fi adapter with like an antenna, USB antenna. And even that now, you guys see it. It's once a stream, my fucking internet will go down. Which, for what reason, I don't know. But it's not like this room is in a bad part of the house to where it's like way away from my router. I mean, it's upstairs, but Ethernet, I can't connect it to my router. It's too far away. There's no way I'd be able to connect it. The only thing is maybe if I ran it through the fucking vents, but even then, it's like Internet provider, AT&T. Yeah, but there's no way I'd be able to. There's no way I would be able to. When I move, I'm going to get my Ethernet right next to my gaming PC. But because if I tried to connect it, even with a longer cord, and I have one that's like 200 feet, it would go through the house. I can't do it. It's based on where it's located. I mean, the router is in the fucking family room. You know, the thing is, this is what I heard. Um, you know, Starlink, I heard, does not work when it rains. Is that true? I don't know what I'm gonna get. I don't know what I'm gonna get. I'm gonna have to do some research or get some recommendations or some shit in terms of what internet provider I want. Get Starlink, bro. What is Starlink, like $100 a month? And they're probably all $100. They're probably all the same thing. It just depends. Just depends which one you want. I might have to get an emergency Wi-Fi thing. We used to have this thing called it's called a jetpack like Wi-Fi thing where you can have Wi-Fi anywhere. I'm sure they probably have something, but that's another expense. You know, I have all these monthly expenses now. It's a fucking pain in the ass. They just take money from me. It's just like, oh yeah, just the amount of shit. I guess that's what happens. Been watching you since 2024. You're my daily news source. Donovan, I appreciate that. Thank you. Storm Chasers use Starlink. Yeah, maybe it's not true. Maybe I should just get Starlink. I mean, the Starlink's like $100. It's not bad. You should rename your second channel to Depressed Ginger Gaming or something like that to make it much easier. Yeah, but I don't even know if I want it to be a gaming channel. It's just more so for secondary videos. I mean, it doesn't have to just be gaming. Yeah, I mean, or I could just change it to, I don't know, I kind of like the DG2 name, but I understand what you're saying because you really can't find it in a search. Yo, Brandon, what's up, man? Daily Dono. Chris, $20. I appreciate it, man. DG Max. What, my second channel? Eric, keep up the great work. Love the videos. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Unknown, what's up, man? Kloss. Kloss. Palantir stock. Would you ever do a video game Let's Play on the DG2 channel? What do you mean? Like a tutorial? Yeah, this is the crazy thing. You look at the Hispanic Latino, Cuomo wins by 20 points. Whites, Mondani wins by 11, basically. Blacks, Cuomo wins by 24. Asians, which they also, I think they include Muslims, Mondani wins by like 30. $20 donation. Smarty, I like your videos and your live stream. I appreciate that. Thank you. Maybe I'll do some GTA gameplay. I'd have to actually rebuy GTA. I don't even have it. I probably have had two different times I probably had GTA and I don't have it now. Because you know how it works. You know, I had the disc, but that was on the was that on the 3? That was maybe on the Xbox One, original Xbox One. Then I think I had it again. Starlink is great. You've had it a couple years. What is the cost of it? What is the cost of it per month? Yeah, I mean, Starlink seems like it would be easy to. I mean, it depends. It depends on the situation I have. I think in terms of me actually, what does Starlink require? Does it require putting it on the roof? We're gonna fund your political career one donation at a time. I don't know. I don't know if I have a political career, but thank you for that. Space Cadet. Thoughts on gingers possibly going extinct in a few years, meaning no more gingers being born? I don't think that's possible. A few decades, it seems there's too many gingers that exist for that to happen that quickly. I mean, we're becoming more and more rare, I think, but I don't think we can go exist in a few decades. We can go extinct because if you think about it, how many? I mean, if you go to Ireland, it's like 20% of the population is ginger. Even with all the immigration they've gotten, but even Ireland is still 81% white. Is Asian a race? Right. They should say East Asian and see what it is. It wouldn't be that. Gingers can skip generations. Yeah, that's how it would be. Like, I don't think my kids. It depends the girl I would get with, but depends on her genes. But in general, if she's not a ginger, I don't think my kids would be ginger. My grandkids would probably be ginger. It's based off of that's how it goes, I think. But again, it depends on who your wife is. Only 81%. Right, I know. But still, I mean, compared to America. Your political views always right leaning? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was never a liberal. Canelo Alvarez? Yeah, he is. He's like Irish Mexican. Starlink on airplanes is great. Yeah, I could only imagine. I mean, if I traveled via planes a lot, I'd probably get all that shit. I'd probably get some of that shit. You don't have to answer this, but I'm curious, do you make more from vids or live streams? Well, 95, I would say 98% of the time, I'll make more money from vids, 100%. But recently, it actually has been live streams because I've been pulling in when I look at my stream donations and then combined with just the ad revenue, but it's mainly the donations compared to the video, because the thing with the videos, they're always going to have an advantage because nobody watches my live streams over and over again. With videos, because they're in the algorithm, you know, I'll get views on videos that I did years ago and I'll still get views. So the videos normally are going to be better than live streams for views and for revenue. But again, it depends. I mean, obviously, technically, go back to my election stream. I mean, that did better than anything else. Would you vlog? Yeah, it's just tough for me to vlog. I mean, there's not much to vlog. I would have to like try and do something with my life or something to actually have an interesting vlog. You know, it's very hard. It's very hard to create storylines that are interesting enough for people. I feel like to actually get. I mean, it could open up a new viewer base for sure, but it's like it's very hard because the thing is like. This is a known thing that I'm doing, and I know I'm going to get certain amount of views. I mean, sure, sometimes it'll be more, sometimes it'll be less, but, you know, if you upload videos on Trump, if you upload 9/11 videos, Stadium videos, you know you're going to get views. You know, you do something a little bit different, it's a lot harder. Are the shorts profitable? No, shorts are not profitable at all. Shorts are for people converting people to watch long form videos. That's what they're for. Therefore, you'll get a lot more interactions on shorts because people consume way more shorts than they do videos just because of the length of them. They're a lot shorter. The reason I don't do shorts, I never really like doing shorts. I think it's artificial growth. Basically, what would end up happening is I would reach these milestones in terms of my subscribers. Let's say I get one random short video that gets like 10 million views. That's going to give me a fuck ton of subscribers. The problem is all those subscribers from the short, most of them will likely not convert and watch my long form content. So I'll have the subscribers, and I'm not calling him out, but if you look at Ben Shapiro, he runs into this problem. I think Ben Shapiro has like 7 million subscribers I saw, and a lot of his videos only get 30 or 40K views. And that's because, you know, they run that model to where they have all those shorts that get millions and millions of views, but the actual core long form content only gets like, I mean, sure, he'll get 100K here and there, but you know, if you have a YouTube channel that's 7 million subscribers and your long form's only getting like 40K or 50K, I think that's that's not something I would want to have. So it's like a long form issue when you have a bunch of subscribers from shorts. Feels like your views have been down recently. Yeah, they have been down. The live streams have made up for them. Mm-hmm. 315 bench vlog. Yeah, that'll be a while from now. Did you build your PC or was it pre-built? I upgraded it. No, it was pre-built though. Short form is good for sponsors. Yeah, well, they have to do that. The only way you make money the only way you make money on TikTok is through sponsorships or through funneling the audience you gain from TikTok to YouTube. So it's sponsorships or it's getting an audience and then telling your audience to go either to your YouTube or, you know, whatever, the X if you want to make money on X, or I guess Twitch, so whatever fuck platforms now. Rumble. Have you been in a fight in real life? When I was younger, I don't think it was a real fight. It was more rough out. It was more like a few wrestling situations. But no, not recently. Adams is going Republican against Zoran. Now he's independent. But the Republicans should just endorse Adams. There's no way the Republicans are going to... You have to give Adams as much chance as possible because Adams he'll get the minority, a liberal vote. That's the thing. So if he can get the Republicans and also probably a lot of the moderates because Mondani is so left-wing. But he's still up against it because of just NYC is so liberal. So you've got such a crazy liberal base. Rumble people are weird. Yeah, I mean, Rumble is just a tough platform to use in general. But I am on Rumble. I just don't upload any videos anymore on there. If they upgraded their interface, I think it'd be really good. But also the other thing is just the way the analytics work on Rumble is really strange. Like your videos, you upload the video, then it gets a certain amount of views, and then it just gets no views after that. It's really you'll upload it within like 5 hours, it'll get like 30K views, and then it's dead. Would you hire people for YouTube? I mean, I really can't hire. I don't think I have enough money to actually, well, it wouldn't make sense for me to hire people unless the situation was like perfect, you know, because I mean, obviously you hire people, the content's going to get better. It's just because, you know, there's more work being put into it, but React to 2016 meltdowns. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely views in doing that, but I don't know. Go back to 2016. I don't want to go back that far. Just watch your update on what the direction is for the channel. Yeah, I did do an update yesterday. Dating videos, dude. I have a pretty good date. It's not even a good dating story. It's on Hinge. It was a while ago. I might do a video for it. I don't know. But it's like, what's the point of doing this? I mean, texting theory live streams. What, the subreddit? Doesn't matter if the user interface is shit. They don't censor everything to death. What, Rumble? Yeah, it just comes down to they're gonna struggle with growing it if they have that problem with user interface. They need to improve it. Travel plans? No, not right now. I just do videos. I mean, at a certain point, I want to travel places. Yeah. Maybe do more 2028 predictions. The next cycle would probably be good. Yeah, I don't think 2028 people want to see that. And honestly, me doing it is kind of dumb. The 2028 stuff I think is too early by a lot. I mean, I did do 2028 stuff like right after the election because, we're all trying to get videos and whatever and trying to find ideas. But it's hard. The 2028 stuff is just like, you're predicting stuff way too far out. It's just it's a political eternity, basically. Politicians tier list. Yeah, that actually is a good idea. I'd have to go through. I want to find I could probably make a list that would be like around the top 50 most. But I mean, dude, the list is kind of ridiculous. I'm a Republican, let's be honest. So it's, a list is going to be heavily slanted one way. Yeah, I mean, midterms will be big, but it's like, there's no reason to do 2028 stuff. U.S. states tier list. States are hard. I mean, to me, I would rank states mainly based on weather. Because the thing is if you ranked it like, California's super liberal, but there's also really conservative areas in California that don't have as bad taxes necessarily. So it's hard to rank states because they're so large. Most people think of just the big cities. But I think I would rank states mainly on weather and climate. I guess also population makeup, but what election videos was the most fun? I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at I'd have to go back and look. I was making some pretty funny videos last year, before I really got bigger. just lying about news just for fun. But maybe those videos. Co-workers told you today that ICE is accidentally taking citizens into custody, that they are not feeding the people they've taken well. Do you think that's true? There was stories about them taking people accidentally a while ago. I haven't heard any stories about ICE taking people that were a mistake recently. So I don't think that's true, at least recently. I mean, look, if you're trying to deport 22 million, 30 million people, whatever it is, you can, there's going to be some mess ups. You just need to make sure you correct it. And then not feeding them, I never heard anything about that. I think that's liberal propaganda. Yeah, they do look well fed. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this stream. I'm going to end it there. Bryson, I appreciate that, man. They're racially profiling. Yeah, I mean, it's liberal slop. It's liberal. How do you prove they're racially profiling? The people they got to deport are people of minorities. I mean, that's who they deport, minorities. Because those are the illegal ones in the country. All right, I'll see you. Yeah, I mean, I'll probably be streaming tomorrow. I should be. I mean, the thing is just like, if hopefully there'll be enough news and stuff. So, all right, I'll see you guys.